Alright, so you want to go ahead and introduce yourself for my audience, and I'll introduce myself to yours?
Yes, my name is Filthy Cubone. I make mostly Pokemon related content and shit posts. And yeah, you guys should check me out.
The link to his channel will be in the description, as well as his perspective to the tiering list.
Of
And
course, Platinum. And how about you tell me about yourself and my audience.
so I am TPS Platinum. I am also a nerd that just makes shit posts and likes Pokemon. Uh, my my highest viewed video is currently of a screaming frog.
Nice.
Anyways, so let's start with the tiering.
I think we should start with Venusaur
Yep.
because
I think we
the
should actually look at the starters as a group and
start
tier
this group, of course. Yeah, all right.
tier them compared to each other. Now, a lot of people will say Blastoise is the best starter because it's the one used in speedruns. But
They'd be correct.
I actually disagree. I think that Venusaur is the best. And
All right, Venusaur. Tell me why.
okay, so there are three major reasons. One, Venusaur does great against 6 of the 8 gym leaders. The only two it struggle with is Sabrina and Blaine. Not only that, but it has access to Razor Leaf, which in Generation 1 is basically a base 160 power move. Furthermore, it's probably the easiest Pokemon to use the Badge Boost glitch with, because it has access to Growth as a level up move. That being said, you can't really ignore its shortcomings, which is why I'm putting it in B tier. I'm I'm also putting Blastoise in B tier mainly because it's got a lot of characteristics that make it really good in a playthrough.
Hmm.
But I'm putting Venusaur above it. And then Charizard, it doesn't really fare too well in a Kanto playthrough, uh, because in Generation 1, uh, it's only really good against like 1 or 2 gyms. Not only that, but it's not really that good against any of the Elite Four.
I will say something that Charizard does have going for it is I believe it has faster speed than both Venusaur and Blastoise, and it can also boost stuff with Badge Boost glitch through Sword Stance.
That
He also has a decent physical move pool. Unfortunately, yeah, I do agree that Charizard is ultimately worse than the other two, but it's not as abysmal as some of the other fire types that we'll be going over later.
and it's notable that and Charizard's notable because it has an additional weakness in Generation 1 because Fire type did not resist Ice type.
That's very true, which gives us some issues in the late four against Lorelei. I personally, I'd put Charizard in C tier, Blastoise in probably B tier, along with Venusaur in B tier as well. Um, Personally, I'd put Blastoise above Venusaur just because it can learn Surf and actually use it. It's a very good move to use in battle. It makes it where you don't have to carry around one of the other Pokemon that can learn Surf. It just makes team building a little bit easier.
All right. Next up, we've got Butterfree. Now, I think that Butterfree is a lot better than the other Generation 1 bug types, mainly because it has decent special, and it also has access to psychic type moves. So, not really that much better, but I'm going to put Butterfree in D tier.
Yeah, I'd put him in the bottom of B tier just because, okay, it is a pretty awful Pokemon, but you do get it very easily, very early in the game, and it's almost a requirement for any Charmander flavor.
Did you say D or B?
B tier, sorry.
Okay.
B as in boobs.
Oh, I put it in D tier.
Oh, you put in D tier. Um, yeah, I mean it's pretty awful. Okay, yeah,
I'm
C tier maybe. I I just have a affinity for it because it is a requirement early on if you are going with Charmander because without it you're gonna have a rough time going through Brock.
all right. Up next is Beedrill, automatic F tier. It doesn't really get any good stabs or any good moves in general. It just
Yeah, it's pretty abysmal.
it's just overall a terrible Pokemon.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The only good thing it has going for it is he's very easy to get early on, so most players will end up having a Beedrill on their team early on, but they will get rid of it.
Although with Beedrill, there is an interesting note about it, since it's the only Pokemon to get Twin Needle. It's the only Pokemon in Generation 1 that's capable of poisoning a poison type.
Yeah, but
But
the
poison,
poison status is pretty awful.
yeah, but I just found that interesting. Pidgeot, I'm gonna put it in D tier. It's not a, er, it's a pretty bad Pokemon, but it's not really all too bad. It's got some decent qualities.
Um, I disagree. I think it's definitely D tier with almost no good qualities. The only good things it has going for it is, I mean, it is pretty fast. You can set up with agility for batch boost glitching, but and you do get them early on, or at least the Pidgey to evolve into it. But by the time you would even get a Pidgeot, you probably replaced your Pidgeotto.
Yeah. Plus, if you're wanting to use a normal flying type, there are a lot better options.
I mean,
Raticate.
mm-hmm. Something cool you can do with Pidgeot is Mirror Move, which in some battles you can use that in unique ways, but you can also just use Mimic, which I think almost everything learns Mimic. So yeah, not much going for Pidgeot, but Eradicate.
It has a decent special move pool. Like, I'm pretty sure it gets Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Bubble Beam.
Yeah, I guess
It
Thunderbolt,
gets
I believe.
Super Fang, which Super Fang's the one that halves HP, right?
Yeah, and then Hyper Fang should have the God Generation One. So fucky, I keep on forgetting. I think it has a higher crit rate, but that may have been like introduced in Generation 2 or 3. Um, Overall, Eradicate, I'm putting in D tier.
I'm putting it in low C tier.
I mean, Eradicate does have a good move pool, but stats are pretty bad. And also the fact that it's just a normal type Pokemon,
Well,
and
normal
there's
type
a
in
lot
gen.
of good normal types. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
he's a just a subpar normal type Pokemon in Generation One that really hurts it.
at the same time, a subpar normal type in Generation 1 is still a normal type in Generation 1.
Right.
Firo, I'm I'm gonna put it above Pidgeot, but still going to put it in D tier.
I'm going to put it at the bottom of C tier just because Pidgeot is a really cool Pokemon. I don't really have any good justification for putting it in C tier, other than, I mean, it's a good Pokemon. It's just, 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 I mean, I do love using it in my playthroughs. Believe it. God, it's been forever since I played a Generation One playthrough though. It gets Drill Peck, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Drill Peck's a pretty good flying type attack. I think it's actually the best flying type attack in Generation One.
Yeah, and it's for the longest time I thought it was a signature move of a Pokemon we're going to see down the road.
Right.
Let's see.
Um.
Arbok. I'm gonna put Arbok in F tier for a couple of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, Arbok, with a voice crack, is the first version exclusive that we've talked about. Second, it's a poison type in Generation 1, a mono poison type in Generation 1, meaning that it doesn't really have any useful stabs. And not, and its stats are abysmal. It's weak to two of the best types in the game. So
Yeah, I mean it has very bad stats and whatnot. I do agree, F tier, but I'd put it at the top of F tier just because Lair is a really cool move. I believe it's the only way to, well, not reliably because you can still body slam paralyze ground types, but Flare can paralyze ground types, which is pretty cool. But yeah, his stats are very awful. Yeah, yeah, Starbucks is bad.
let's see, Raichu. I'm going to put it in C tier, below Charizard, but above Eradicate.
Um, yeah, I'd put Raichu at the bottom of C tier. He's it's okay. I mean, has good speed, good special. Overall it's a solid Pokemon. It's just its move pool is pretty bad. It gets
It gets
Thunderbolt,
dig. It
Body
gets
Slam.
dig,
Okay, Dig, which Dig's pretty okay, at least in single player.
and
Um,
in Generation 1, it has the same base power as Earthquake.
yeah, but in single player, you don't have to worry about the opponent switching out unless they're Agatha.
And even against Agatha, dig is still
Anything
pretty
against
good.
Agatha is kind of a crapshoot.
Well, I mean, dig is still pretty good since abilities
Yeah,
don't exist. It can hit Agatha's ghost types.
yeah, it hits everything except for Golbat, and then Golbat you just would use Thunderbolt.
Uh,
Okay, yeah, I have a change of heart. I'm gonna put Raichu at the top of C tier. I put it above Charizard even, just because I like
well,
Charizard, or I want to like Charizard. It's just Charizard is just awful.
you know what? I think I'm gonna agree with you there. Uh, Raichu above Charizard.
I mean, at least in Red and Blue, Charizard can't even use Fly. Like, we have a flying Pokemon that can't use Fly. Okay, I'm putting Charizard in D tier. Because Charizard just. What does Charizard even do aside from Sword Stancing and then using like Body Slam and then Dig or Earthquake? Like,
It also has Fire Blast.
I mean, it has Fire Blast, but I mean, Fire Blast. I mean, who are you going to use that against late game? Because Lorelei, no, not really. I mean, Jinx, but Bruno, Agatha. I mean, you're not really hitting that much super effectively with Fire Blast.
Well, you've got the Rivals Executor.
The Executor that knows Hypnosis, Stomp, and Barrage. Okay, enough of that tangent. Sand Slash.
um, F tier.
Yeah, I'm going to go and say Sand Slash. Definitely F tier. I put it above Arbok because Sand Slash. I think it gets Sword Stance, I believe, so it can boost itself. Um, but I'd say probably the if not the worst ground type of Generation 1, like bottom 2.
There's a ground type that I think is worse than Sandslash, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's still
speaking,
pretty bad.
but speaking of ground types, Nidoqueen. C tier.
Yeah, I think B tier is fair. Nidoqueen has a lot of good things going for her. I'd put her above. I put her at the top of B tier, so above Blastoise and Venusaur. I mean, she has a lot of good things going for her. I think it would be fair enough to go ahead and also discuss Nidoking at the same time because they
Okay,
have
Nidoking.
almost. Yeah, let's discuss both of them at the same time.
Okay, Nidoking. Nidoking is an S tier, and you.
Yeah, definitely S tier. They have a Nidoking and Queen have an almost identical move pool. I think the only difference is Nidoking learns Thrash, while Nidoqueen learns Body Slam through level up. Which, okay, so the Body Slam through level up is better than Thrash, but Nidoking's offensive stats are just way more useful than the defensive stats you get through Nidoqueen.
And small detail about both of them. They both get Horn Drill leveling up, right?
Sorry, what was that?
They both get Horn Drill leveling up, right?
No. Nido King, I think it's Nidorino, can learn it through level up. Or
Okay, well.
okay, yeah. So Nidorino learns it through level up. Then check Nidorina. Don't think she does, but nah, she learns Fury Swipes instead.
Okay, so the thing about Horn Drill and Oko moves in general, uh, if you use a single X accuracy on your Pokemon, Horn Drill will bypass accuracy check.
Mm-hmm.
So that also gives a huge advantage to Nidoking here, which is why
Right.
I immediately put it in S tier.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Clefable.
Clefable is pretty cool. She
I
has a pretty good special move pool.
I'm gonna put her in high C tier, maybe B tier.
Um, I put her in the bottom of B tier because I think that she's definitely better than Raichu. Um, but I mean, Clefable has a lot of issues going for her in Generation One, but overall, I think she's a very solid Pokemon to have. I think
Yeah,
that as far
her.
as like if you're like playing on Showdown or whatnot, Clefable's issue in OU is that it's not Snorlax, but and we'll get to Snorlax later. But I think that by herself, Clefable does bring a lot.
Let's see, Body Slam, uh, Ice Beam. It gets Flamethrower too, right?
I believe so.
If not Flamethrower, then it also gets Fire Blast. It gets Ice Beam. It gets
No,
all.
it doesn't get Flamethrower. It gets Flamethrower wasn't a TM in Gen 1.
That's right. But it does get Fire Blast though.
Yeah, it does get Fire Blast, yeah.
Speaking of Fire Blast, Ninetales. Trash. Putting it.
Yeah, it's another Vert exclusive that's just not worth buying the extra card for. Um, I put her above Arbok just because at least Ninetales is pretty fast, and so you can get like a fast hypnosis off, and then you can maybe try to cheese something with Confuse Ray, and then Fire Spin. Okay, we'll say
Okay,
Fire Spin.
yeah, Fire Spin.
Very broken.
Yeah, it's basically Wobbles from Smash Melee.
Mm-hmm. So Ninetales does have the speed to pull off Fire Spin.
I'm going to actually upgrade Ninetales to a low D tier on my end.
I'm still going to have her in F, like F plus tier on my end, higher end F tier, just because, yes, it's in competitive play, wrap spam can be a very good strategy, but it's just not really necessary for a playthrough.
Does Ninetales get a stat boosting move?
I mean, you can use Mimic to get one in some matches, in some battles, but I mean, almost every Pokemon gets Mimic though, so.
Alright, Wigglytuff?
Um, Pretty awful. I'd say at the very bottom of D tier. I mean, it's just. I mean,
Yeah,
Wigglytuff has a
Wigglytuff is
decent move pool.
Wigglytuff is basically discount Clefable, let's be honest here.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost no reason to use Wigglytuff over Clefable. And Clefable is, I'd say, a little bit easier to get a Clefable than Wigglytuff because you're going to spend a lot more time going through Mount Moon than in the grass areas outside of Mount Moon.
This is true. Plus Clefable has a better stat distribution.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure as far as specific moves that Clefable or Jigglypuff have over each other, but as far as I remember, Clefable has better stats, or at least, yeah, better overall stats, and then better distribution.
Golbat, bottom of
Very
F.
bottom of F tier. Very bottom.
In fact, I think I'm going to modify the chart to put an F minus tier because it's that bad.
Yeah, Golbat is.
Golbat goes into G tier. G for Golbat.
G for Golbat. That's definitely fair. I'm just looking at what we have to cover real quick. Yeah, I'd say that Golbat's probably going to be the worst Pokemon that we are going to be going over today. There's just absolutely no good things about it.
Vileplume, it's got its perks. A few one big problem with it is it's a version exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put Vileplume in C tier above Charizard, but below Raichu.
I'm going to have Vileplume. I'm going to put him at the top of D tier because Vileplume is like a discount Venusaur. There's just almost no reason to use it. I think that you'd have to be down pretty bad in order to use it.
Well, the only reason you'd use a Vileplume is if you're playing blue and you didn't pick Venusaur.
Yeah, and you don't have a friend that can trade another Pokemon that we're going to go over here in a little bit.
Parasect, I'm going to put it an F above Golbat.
Yeah, I'm going to put him, I think just above Golbat because it's pretty bad. I mean, it does get Spore, and Spore is a very cool move. It can also boost itself with both Growth and Sword Stamp, so you have options. But its stats are really bad.
Plus, the only bug stab it gets is Leech Life.
Yeah, God, that's just such a horrible move. He's times 4 weak to both fire and poison in Generation 1. Oh, and flying. Because there's a bug in Generation 1 where bug Pokemon are weak to poison. So, Parasect is 4 times weak to fire flying, and poison.
So it's
So
just low tier trash.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Speaking
Venom.
of, um,
What do you think about Venom?
I am going to say that it's not as bad as other poison type options. Or bug type options for that matter, but it's still not very good. Maybe low D tier.
See, I'm going to put it at the top of. Actually, I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. Just
Oh,
because Venomoth has sleep powder, poison powder. Oh, you wouldn't roll this with powder, but sleep powder and Sunspore. It has access to Psychic. Um, he's just such a cool. I think definitely it's going to be the best. Yeah, I'd say it's probably no. Okay, it's not the best book type Pokemon, but I just
you
love
know what?
Venomoth.
I've changed
Bottom
my
of B
mind.
tier.
I'm gonna change my mind. I forgot about those qualities. I'll put it at the top of C tier.
Hey, there we go.
Doug Trio, it's really only useful for getting past Surge, let's be honest.
Yeah, its defenses are very bad.
I mean,
He's still pretty fast, so he
if it were
does get.
Gen if it were Gen 3 or after where it got Arena Trap, then that would be different.
Thing is, though, we're talking about a single player playthrough, so Arena Trap really doesn't have that much use because the opponents don't really switch out. Um, I will say something it does have going for it as far as in Generation 1 is a very high crit rate due to crit being tied to your base speed. It
That
also has
is
access to Slash, so that it's going to be a perma crit. So you can always get crit off whenever you need it.
that is fair. Uh,
He also learns Earthquake through level up, and Earthquake is an awesome move.
C tier right below Charizard.
Yeah, I'd put it in C tier still because he still has a lot of issues going with it. But I put personally, I put it at the top of C tier because it does have a lot of good things going for it, but it's just has a lot of issues as well. Very weak
I'm
as
gonna
far as like it does not tank any hits.
I'll put it right below Raichu. Persian. You know what? Going off the crit point you made, I think that given Persian's availability, although it is a version exclusive, so that knocks it down a bit, I'm gonna say high B tier.
I'm gonna put it as at least my first A tier Pokemon because of the high crit rates, and then also its move pool is pretty good.
Well, I'm only putting it in B tier because it's a version exclusive, so that kind of knocks it down a
Yeah, it
little bit.
definitely
But
knocks it down.
the fact that it basically has a 99% crit rate with stab slash is nothing to scoff at.
Mm-hmm. And the only things that can really want to eat a stab slash would be a rock type, which doesn't want to eat a bubble beam. Or I think it gets ice beam or blizzard. I might be wrong there,
It,
but at very least bubble beam.
I'm pretty sure it gets ice beam, yeah. Anyways, speaking of bubble beam, Golduck.
It's a duck.
It's a duck. Joey's very annoying with
I
those
think
ducks.
it's a duck. D tiers for duck.
D. D's nuts.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately it does. This is at least in Generation One, it does not have a whole lot unique about it, so it gets overshadowed by the numerous other water types.
Primeape. It's a Generation 1 fighting type.
Yeah, it's Generation 1 fighting type. It's pretty bad. I will say it does have a decent speed stat and a decent attack stat, so
So maybe mid D tier?
yeah, about mid D tier.
I'm putting it
Just,
right below Pidgeot.
I mean, okay, let's talk about, I guess, a good side of Primate. It does have good speed and attack. Its move pool is okay. Um, it's pretty easy to get.
And if you chose Charizard, like an Umpty, then then it comes in handy for Brock.
Yeah, it comes in handy for Brock because you either need the Mankey or a shit brain fart Butterfree. There we go. Yeah, Brock. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Um, Arcanine. It is a Generation 1 fire type.
I'm putting it right next to Ninetales.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I'm gonna put it below Ninetales because at least Ninetales has Hypnosis and Confuse Ray, so it has some utility. Arcanine. Okay, Arcanine does have a higher attack stat, so if you want to use moves like Takedown, then you can do that.
Does it get
But
Body Slam through TM?
I imagine it would. Um, check real quick. I don't see why it wouldn't get Body Slam.
Because if it gets Body Slam, I
Yeah, it
think.
gets Body Slam.
Okay, so I
It's
think
Body Slam.
just
Oh, and Dig. It also gets
okay.
Dig. Okay, yeah.
Okay, because of that, I'll put it right above Ninetales.
Yeah, I'll put it right above Ninetales as well. Yeah.
Uh, Another point against Arcanine before we move on, it is also a version exclusive. Oh, and so is Mankey and Primate.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Primeape still in D here. I don't feel good about taking even 4 points off of it at this point. He suffered enough abuse.
Poliwrath. It's a Generation 1 fighting type that is also weak to grass and electric.
Bottom of D tier.
I'm actually going to put it at top of F tier.
Top of F tier. See, at least from I think that's better than the tier Pokemon because at least it's also water type, so it gets stuff like Ice Beam, I believe. Should get Ice Beam or Blizzard, maybe. Check. Um, I'm gonna have it bottom of D tier. I think he still has some good things going for it, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
Alright, Alakazam.
You have to
Alakazam?
trade. You have to
Uh,
trade to get it. Bottom of F
yeah.
tier. Like,
And who has those?
yeah, if
No,
you're
but
emulating the game, you straight up can't get it. So
no, seriously. If this thing wasn't a trade evolution, it would be S tier immediately. Even though its only good attacking move is Psychic. However, because it's a trade, I think that it's going to be my first A tier.
yeah, definitely the top of A tier. If you could get it easily, more easily, then it would be like probably the best Pokemon on the list. Um, I know there are some ROM hacks that allow for trade evolutions through like an item.
I'm pretty sure that there's a cheat code, like a Game Shark code,
Yeah,
That
you could do game chart code, but if you're playing on cart, um, no mods, no hacking, um, then you just straight up can't even get it unless you have a friend to trade with.
yeah. So Alakazam, my first A tier,
But
and
if you do have that friend to trade with, Alakazam is very good.
access to Psychic, access to Thunder Wave,
Not just psychic, stab psychic
Stab Psychic
with a high crit rate,
in Generation One.
and then also Generation One recover. And then its only weak spot is this defense, which it can raise with reflect.
Someone's been watching False Swipe Gaming.
All right, let's go next.
Machamp.
Machamp.
It's a
Um,
not only is it a fighting type in Generation 1, but it's a fighting type in Generation 1 with a trade evolution.
I will say, all right, let's talk about the good things first. It does have good stats.
It has good stats. I'll grant it that. And
And
it
then,
it has a decent move pool with moves like Body Slam and Submission.
mhm,
Even though Submission is kind of a subpar move, it's kind of the best fighting type move in the game.
it's the best it's getting.
So I'm going to put it high F tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the top of F tier because it's just way too much effort to get. It's like it's not worth the effort.
Victory Bell. It's a version exclusive. However, I think I'm actually going to put Victory Bell in A tier, below Alakazam, and above its grass type alumni, uh, grass type colleague, Venusaur. Mainly because it's faster, which means that it has a higher crit chance with Razor Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, the
it's
thing is, though,
and
with
it's
Razor Leaf, it's gonna be critting regardless, even with Venusaur. But it's gonna have a higher crit rate with other moves as well. So whenever you teach it,
and not
Hyper
only that,
Beam or Wrap.
but it's also it also hits harder, right?
I believe so. Another thing it has going for it, it has Wrap, so you can use Wrap spam. Yeah, Victory Bell definitely better than Venusaur. I'd also put it in A tier. Another thing it has going for it is you're not locked into a starter. With Venusaur, you have to pick Bulbasaur in order to get it. In order to get Victory Bell, you just either have to play the version of the game that has Bellsprout and Weaving Bell, or just trade for it.
All right, Tentacruel. It has a it has a
Ooh, got
decent.
loud there.
At the very least, I like its sprite.
Yeah, Tentacruel has a very cool sprite. For that alone, B tier.
Yeah,
Yeah, I put at the bottom of B tier. Honestly, has pretty good stats, a good move pool. I mean, it's still a Generation One Poison type, but
but it's also a Generation 1 water type.
yeah, it's Generation One Water type. It has a high special, high speed. It's Wrap as well, which you can abuse if you want to.
Plus, doesn't it
Um,
get Swords Dance?
Get Sword Stance, yep, to boost its attack and badge boost glitch. Gets Ice Beam and Blizzard. Um, yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
it's a lot
surfing
to
it's a surfing Pokemon that gets stab.
surfing Pokemon. Yeah, it's yeah, it's a good Pokemon. Not
Golem.
A tier, but yeah, okay. Golem. I
I'm gonna
I
put
hate the rock.
yeah, Golem's a decent Pokemon. We can be honest here. Golem
Okay, decent.
I mean
Now
it's
keep in mind you have to trade in order to get Golem.
yeah, and there's another Pokemon down the line that does Golem's job but better. But But if you want to go boom, Golem is the way to go.
Thing is, so do you really want to go boom in a single player playthrough?
It's a lot of fun, man.
It is a lot of fun, but like it's not very good to go through the Elite Four, and
Well, I
you're
mean,
going to be spending a lot of money on revives. That or running through the Poke Center after every battle. And I'm not discounting Explosion. Explosion is a very good move in Generation 1, but
especially considering the fact that it halves it defense still.
mhm. For
So
me, I put it
it's
at the bottom of C tier because, I mean, yes, it's a decent Pokemon, but
I'm
it
actually
has issues.
I'm actually gonna
And
put it above Dugtrio.
see, I'd rather use Dugtrio because at least you're getting the reliable crits. With Golem, you're not getting crits with that thing. And it's so slow if it gets hit
Yep.
by any water move or grass move, you're going down.
Yeah, but still, it's a really good physical wall.
Mm-hmm.
Rapidash, I'm putting it below Ninetales in D tier. Like, what does Rapidash have?
Um,
You know what?
Swag.
You know what? You know what?
Just
F
put it
tier,
F tier.
F tier
Yeah.
right, or F tier right above Arbok.
Yep, I have it right above Arbok as well. It's a truly awful Pokemon. I don't. Does it even get Hypnosis in Generation 1? I think it's an egg move in Gen 2.
Slowbro, one of the
Slowbro.
one of the best Pokemon in the game.
Yep, Stab Psychic. It can boost with Amnesia. Amnesia is probably the best move in the game because it boosts both your offensive and your defensive powers, along with Bash Boost glitching. I'd say Slowbro would be bottom of S tier.
Agreed. Magneton, this one breaks my heart. Mag
Yeah, Magneton is truly awful. I put it
Magneton,
like in the middle of F tier.
yeah, Magneton is a lot better after Generation 2, when Steel type is introduced. And every time I go through a game post Generation 1 where I have the ability to use Magneton, it's always a staple of my team. But
Mhm.
Generation 1 Magneton is just garbage. When
I
it
mean, I like Magneton, but I mean, it's going even below. Let's see,
I
below Rapidash for me.
I put it right above Beedrill but below Arbok.
Yeah, see, I have it. I have it. Oh, I have it above Arbok because. Oh god, I can't even justify it being above Arbok. Yeah, it goes below Arbok. Yeah, it's truly awful. Okay, Farfetch.
F for
The duck.
Farfetch'd.
You know what? I'm gonna put D for duck, and here's
You know
why.
what? Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Here's why. Um, if you, he has a stick, okay? Like it has that stick in his mouth. He has that swagger. He's a unique trade Pokemon. You can't even nickname him. So he's like always. What's the name of the nickname in Generation One?
Chitting?
Farfetch is like Leduc or something.
No, I think it's Chitting.
Chiding. I mean Chiding. Yes. I mean that's just an awesome nickname. Um,
I'm going to put it right below the other duck.
if you're speed running the game, it is one of the faster cuts that you can get. If you're unable to find a Paris Mount Moon, you can catch a Spearow, and then trade that to get access to cut. If you're speed running, I have it at the bottom of D tier because Duck. I mean, at least with the other Pokemon, like in F tier, they're in F tier because I'm disappointed in them. With Farfetch, it is what it is. Like you don't expect anything from it, and so you're not disappointed.
Alright, Dodrio. I think Dodrio is actually a pretty good Pokemon.
Yeah, I like Dodrio.
It's one of the few Pokemon that get access to Drill Peck. It's a flying type that actually has good stats.
Yeah, good speed, good attack, high crit rate.
It has a signature move with Tri Attack. It is a signature
Now in
move, right?
Generation One, um, I'm not sure.
The only other Pokemon I could see getting Tri Attack in Generation 1 is Porygon.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. I thought Tri Attack was a TM in Generation One. I know that doesn't have any secondary effects. Okay, yeah, a lot of Pokemon get through TM. I think it's
Hmm.
the only Pokemon that can learn it through level up, though. But the issue with Tri-Attack, though, is it has no additional effect in Generation 1. It wasn't until Generation 2 where it had the 20% chance to freeze burn paralysis.
Still, it gets access to Body Slam, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does get Body Slam, so stab, Body Slam with good speed, good attack. So
Stab, Body Slam, Stab, Drill Peck. It gets Earthquake, right?
uh no,
Okay.
I
Okay,
don't
yep.
think it gets Earthquake because I think you had to use Mimic to get access to it in
Okay,
Cubone.
so I think I'm going to put Dodrio at the top of B tier.
Yeah, I think B tier. Yeah, it's just his move pool is pretty bad. I mean, the moves it does get are really cool, but I mean, its only offensive attacks are flying and normal. Yeah, flying and normal. That's it.
Which normal in Generation 1 isn't that bad considering the flying type, or that the psychic type basically
Oh yeah, for
keeps.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but then it can also boost its stats with agility.
Alright, Dugong, why does this thing exist?
Yeah, Dugong is just bad. I put like I don't know, middle. I mean, it's going in F tier.
I'm going
Thing
to
is,
put it.
I'm not sure where to put it.
I
I will put it at the top of F tier because it does still have good stats and whatnot, but it's just really bad in comparison to the other types.
right above Machamp.
Yeah, I have it at the top of F tier because I mean it does have some good things going for it. Like you're not going to be hurting if you are using it. It's just why would you ever use it over any other water type in the game, including Poliwhirl? Not even Poliwrath, Poliwhirl.
Muck.
Muck.
Mm,
Um,
it's a poison type in Generation 1. So, got pretty shafted.
yeah, its best stab move is Sludge. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of. Does it even get D tier?
I'm going to put him in. I'm going to put him in D tier above the Ducks.
Yeah, yeah, I could put it like in the middle of D tier. I mean, he does have some good stats. I think.
Mm.
Let me check real quick. Yeah, he has a 105 HP and attack, and 75 defense. So it's kind of bulky on the physical side. The special side, not so much. Low speed, has to use Sludge for stab. Does get Body Slam though, and it's does get Explosion as well. So if you want to go Boom, which I wouldn't recommend doing, but if you wanted to, you could go Boom.
Speaking of going boom, Cloyster. Cloyster is a pretty interesting case. A lot different than the other bulky waters in Generation 1, where its bulk is in physical instead of special.
Mm-hmm.
But its special stat is still is pretty low in Generation 1, ain't it?
No, it's 85, so
Oh,
it's not
okay,
bad.
so that's decent.
Yeah, it has decent physical and like its physical defense is really good. It's like 180 defense, which is the highest, I believe, or the second highest.
So above or below Blastoise in B tier?
I'd put it above just because it gets stab blizzard, and then also the availability. It's easier to get a Cloyster than Blastoise.
Okay, so
Also clamp. It gets
yep.
clamp, so if you want to do clamp strategies.
There's a lot of those moves in Generation 1, aren't there?
Yeah, it's clamp, fire spin, wrap, and maybe constrict.
Constrict is a one and done thing.
Okay, so it's just wrap, fire spin, and clamp.
Do you ever get the feeling that Wrap was supposed to be a grass type move but is only normal because of a programming error? It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either.
I mean, we got clamp and fire spin, which are basically fire and water versions of Wrap, respectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of funky stuff going on in Gen 1, like Karate Chop being a normal type move.
Yeah, what was the deal with that?
Normal type. Like, why would they have Guts be a normal type move? The signature move of Pidgey. Crazy, yeah. Like nothing else got Guts other than the Pidgey line.
Gengar. It's quad weak. Was Ghost weak to Psychic in Generation 1, or was Psychic just immune to Ghost?
Ooh, it's one of those programming things. I know that is a little fucky.
I think it was just. I think Psychic was just immune to Ghost.
Yeah. I know the Psychic was immune to Ghost moves, although the only Ghost move that did damage was Lick. And Nightshade, but Nightshade doesn't use
it's
type in the damage calculation.
Yeah, it's basically Ghost type Seismic Toss, which can hit this thing for some reason. I'm gonna.
You do have to trade to get it, so
you do.
That does make it. Yeah, you have to trade for a Gengar, so that's takes away a few points for me. But
although
put it right next to Alakazam.
In A tier?
Yeah, in A tier. Actually, I'm gonna put above Alakazam because I really like the because Gengar gets some cool moves that Alakazam wishes it could get. Thunderbolt.
I'm actually gonna put it in B tier for a couple of reasons. One is the trade evolution thing, but also because it doesn't really hit much with its stabs.
Yeah, it does not use the stabs at all, but it does get hypnosis.
It gets hypnosis. It gets T-Bolt, and it's really hard for the AI to deal with this thing. I'm putting it in high B tier above Dodrio. Onyx, it doesn't even see use in Smogon Inu F tier.
Yeah, Onyx is really bad.
F tier below Sandshrew or Sandslash.
Yeah, it goes below Sandslash. I still have it above the because I'm putting the fire types in F tier, like the Arcanine, Ninetales, whatnot. A little bit above them just because its typing is a little better. So you're going to at least tank some normal hits. Actually, no, its typing's horrible. And I'm gonna put it at the very bottom of F tier, like above Golbat, because Golbat's just truly awful. But
I'm putting it right above Parasect.
I'm putting it below Parasect because, like, what do you even do with Onyx? Like, its offensive stats are so bad. Like, you would think that Onyx would have a high attack, but no, its attack is 45.
It's a speedy tank. How does that work?
It's not even that tanky because its health stat's only 35. It has a health stat 35 and a special stat 30.
This thing needed Steelix in Generation 1, just saying.
It needed Steelix bad. Let's see, does it... Can it even badge boost glitch? Let me check real quick. Okay, it gets hardened. So it can boost glitch through hardened. Um, but yeah, like I'm kind of below Parasect. Like at least with Parasect, you have some cool things. You know, Spore.
Yeah,
And
Parasect has a lot more options than
I mean, it's still
Onyx.
god awful though. Let's just move on to Hypno.
Hypno. Hypno is basically a discount Alakazam, but it's a discount Alakazam you don't have to trade for. I'm gonna put it in mid B tier, right above Venusaur.
Yeah, I think that's
If
completely fair.
if you're playing with trade backs for whatever reason, I'd put Hypno above Alakazam because it gets Amnesia.
Hmm.
But we're going off the assumption that you're not going to be doing that.
Yeah, I will say something that it does have over Alakazam is better physical bulk. So if you're going to be tanking more hits, but even then, Alakazam has recover. So yeah, I mean, Hypno is not bad. It's just worse than Alakazam and even Kadabra. Kingler.
It's okay. Kingler has a lot of interesting qualities, like how it's a water type that's a physical attacker. But
I put at
that
bottom of C tier.
bottom of C tier, I'm gonna put it above or below Charizard.
Now, I will say Kingler has. I think Crab Hammer was almost always a crit in Generation 1,
Yeah,
which
but
is.
it functioned off of Kingler's vastly inferior special stat.
Yeah, it's supposed to have 50. But with it always being a crit, though, that makes it a little bit better.
I'll put a I'll put it right above Charizard, but below Vileplume.
Electrode.
It's fast.
It is fast, and it can go boom. What can do other than fast and boom?
Nothing, but if you want a Pokemon that goes boom, Electrode's probably the worst to do it because it has such a low physical attack.
Yeah, and let's see what offensive moves we have. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Electrode.
Obviously, it gets Thunderbolt and Explosion.
Yeah, I get Thunderbolt, Explosion, Skull Bash.
how does
Uh,
how does a how does a Pokeball have a skull?
I'm not sure, but as far as let's see, it gets Hyper Beam, so you can just spam. Now it's going to be getting a lot of crits because I think it has the highest speed in the game, so it's going to be critting like 25% of the time, something like that.
I'm gonna put it in D tier, right below Butterfree.
I put in D tier below Farfetch. Like, I'd rather use Farfetch than Electrode. At least with
Mm.
Farfetch, you're having like, hey, I'm using Farfetch. You can boost with Sword Stance and actually, hit stuff.
Does Electrode not get Defense Curl?
Let me see. No, it doesn't get any boosting moves.
Ah,
At least, does the Bastard Glitch work with Reflect?
no, I
No.
don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So, yeah, so you can't even boost. Oh, it gets Double Team. So if
Oh,
you want to be a cheeky bastard and use Double Team, and then go ahead and use Double Team. But you're using Double Team to use the offensive attacks of, let me see here, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Takedown, Sonic Boom. Oh yeah, not Sonic Boom.
Sonic.
Skull Bash.
Oh wait.
Swift. Oh, it
Oh,
gets Swift. So you're not
oh,
gonna be getting that 1 and 256 miss.
oh. Skull Bash increases defense, doesn't it?
It did in like Generation 4, not in Gen 1.
Ah.
No, it races it in Gen 2. That's when they introduced that mechanic. Yeah, it's truly awful. Actually, I'm gonna put Electrode in F tier after looking at it. I put below Magneton because I think Magneton has more going for it than Electrode.
Honestly, that sounds fair. Executor. It's a psychic type in Generation 1, of course it's going to be good. But is it a better in-game option than the other psychic types?
Not really. Sleep is much less valuable. So like Sleep Powder is cool and all, but it's much less valuable in single player.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is Generation 1 where sleep is broken as hell.
Right.
I'm going to put it in B tier right below Nidoqueen.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair. I mean, what you could do is Sleep Powder and then Solar Beam because they're asleep and they're not going to switch out.
Marowak, it's a generation before held items were introduced. It doesn't have thick club.
It's obviously going below Sand Slash, but how far down F tier are we going with this thing?
I'd say it's right above Onyx. Because
Yeah,
even though
definitely better than Onyx. Um, let's see. For me, yeah, I'm having it right in the middle of F tier. It's going to be above the Electric, so it's going to be above Magneton, but it's going below Arbok. Because I'd rather use Arbok than Marowak.
I'll put it right below Sandslash.
I mean, really, it's just kind of a discount Sand Slash. I can't even boost it. Does it get Sword Stance in Gen 1?
Maybe?
I know it does in Gen 2 get Sword Stance. Let me check. Yeah, it doesn't even get Sword Stance in Generation 1. So it's just.
Womp womp womp.
I mean, okay, it gets Blizzard. So if you want to use Blizzard off of base 50 and Fire
Mo-
Blast.
More power to you.
Oh, it gets Bubble Beam. That's.
Why does it get this stuff?
Yeah, like, why does it get Bubble Beam?
Although Stab Earthquake is always nice, but if
I
I'm
mean,
going
that
to
Earthquake's always nice, but there's just, like,
if I'm going to use
like
a
5 better options already.
Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are kind of similar and kind of different. I think Hitmonchan's the only Pokemon in the game that gets the elemental punches, right?
Yeah, I think they. Yeah, those are signature moves for him in Generation 1 with a base special of 35.
So I'm going to put just for just for that cool factor, I'm going to put Hitmonchan in low D tier and Hitmonlee in F tier.
See, I'm going to have to put Hitmonlee in middle of C tier just because um, it gets a
Yeah.
Meditate to boost its attack in Bass Boost Place, and also High Jump Kick, which
Oh yeah,
is a fighting
that
move.
that's actually very appealing.
Now,
Yeah, I'm
this is
gonna put
Generation 1 High Jump Kick, so it's only 85 base power, and so and
yeah,
high
but if you
attack. But
miss it, it only deals 1 HP of damage.
exactly.
So I'm going to put it in low C tier, right below Charizard.
Lickitung.
What does this thing have?
Not much. It has a giant tongue. It doesn't even learn Lick. The fact that it doesn't learn Lick is very disappointing. Okay, what it does have is Sword Stance, Wrap, decent special move pool to go with its 60 special. Speed of 30, so he's going to be one of the lowest crit rates in the game. I think we're looking at the worst normal type in Generation 1.
So maybe high F, low D?
Yeah, I'd do. Because he is still normal type. Yeah, I'd put it in high F. I'd put it
I'm
right below Sand Slash.
I put him right below Polyrath. I also have Polyrath in F tier. So
Mm-hmm.
Wheezing. Did somebody say boom?
Now if you're Koga using Weezing, it's definitely S tier. But we are not Koga. Yeah, I believe, yeah, Koga's Weezing is the nightmare of Nuzlockers and people trying to do solo runs. So we had to give it, like, some points for that. But there's so many minus points that, I mean, it's still getting, like, D tier. Like,
I'm gonna put it right above Primeape. I mean,
yeah,
it's got decent bulk.
yeah, it does have decent bulk, but it's just bad. I think that's basically the same thing as Muck. Like, I'm not sure what moves they have to differentiate themselves.
Now we're getting into some of the easiest Pokemon to capture in the game. /S. And we're getting into the Safari Zone Pokemon. Rhydon, it's not really that hard to capture when it comes to the
Yeah,
Safari Zone. Plus, it's got a lot of appealing qualities. It's definitely better than the other rock Golem.
yeah, it's definitely better than Golem.
I am going to put it in A tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the very bottom of A tier, but it's definitely still an A tier Pokemon for me. I mean, Stab Earthquake. If you want to be
Stab.
cheeky and use Horn Drill, or you get both the combination
Well,
Fissure and Horn Drill.
I wouldn't really do that in Generation. Or I wouldn't really do that mainly because the whole you can't really horn drill or you can't use Oko moves on Pokemon slower than you, and this thing is a lumbering giant.
That is true. Um, Usually though, and at least whenever I play, I'm always over leveled. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't work on slower mons. So Nidoking does that niche a lot better. All same thing with Nidoqueen, but yeah, I still think it's definitely an A tier though.
Yeah, it's probably the best physical tank in the game. And speaking of tanks, Chansey. The consolidated
It's a bitch to get.
the consolidated special stat is probably its most appealing quality here because it's got effectively base 100 special attack and special defense. Not to mention it has reliable recovery with soft boiled.
And its
I
defense could be fixed to a reflect.
I think we're looking at another S tier.
Yeah, definitely an S tier. I forgot what generation they introduced it, but you, outside of battle, you could use soft boil to
That was
freeze
Generation
other
1.
party members. That's Generation 1.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a cool mechanic. I forgot whenever they introduced that, but that's a really cool mechanic.
Alright.
Um,
Up next, we've got the flying spaghetti monster himself, Tangela.
the question is, why use Tangela over any other grass type?
Below Golbat.
No, it's better than Golbat. Come on. It's better than
Fine.
Golbat.
Fine. I'll put it right above Onyx.
Yeah, it's better than Onyx even. But it's worse than Parasect, which, yeah, Tank's gone. love Kangaskhan.
It's got some appealing qualities. Uh, Not really that useful in Generation 1, though, if you have.
Not that, yeah, but I mean, I think that a lot of the issues of Kangaskhan is it's
I can't.
compared to something that we're going to cover here shortly.
I think
But
him.
I think on its own merits, he's definitely mid B tier. I mean, he's better than Clefable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put it. I'll put it right above Clefable. And
Now that you're back, Seadra. Um,
why does this thing exist?
what is this thing? I mean, I'm trying to think of even. I mean, it's going down low. It's going in B tier, I think. But would I put it above or below Golduck? I mean, how did put it below Golduck even?
It's gotta go below Golduck, but I don't want to break up the ducks. Is it better than Farfetch'd?
No, because at least with Farfetch, you have that thing of that funny factor of haha, I'm using Farfetch.
All right,
Like joke Pokemon.
I'm gonna put it right above Hitmonchan.
I will say Farfetch can boost itself. I mean, with Sword Stance, with Seadra, or sorry, Kingdra. Yeah, no, sorry, I had it right the first time. Seadra has to use I think Agility, which Dash Boost glitch does work, but it's not boosting a attacking stat directly.
Plus, it really suffers without the dragon typing. In Generation 1, Dragon Water would have been busted as hell.
Oh yeah, yeah. If Kingdra was in Generation 1, it would have been actually good. But Seadra by itself, no, pretty
Okay.
bad.
We had Seadra, now we have Sea King. It's the only Pokemon in Generation 1 that gets Waterfall.
So I'm gonna put it below Dugong. At least Dugong, has better stats. Actually, I
Yeah.
think I was too unkind. Dugong. I'm gonna rephrase it. Is going in mid D tier. So it was originally in bottom or high F tier. I'm gonna put it in mid D tier above Seadra because it does have good stats. But yeah, like
I'm actually with you there. I'm gonna
yeah,
put it.
Dugong. Like my issue with Dugong, like going back to that to the seal, is that you can only find it at Seafoam Island, so you could easily skip it. Um,
Well,
but I mean,
to be fair with that, the only place you could get Slowbro is Seafoam too.
yeah, but Slowbro was actually good.
Yeah. And speaking of another good Pokemon, Starmie.
We have another S tier. I mean, water psychic typing is just so good. It has
I'm
recover, good stats. I
I'm
mean, unless you have something against it.
I'm going to put it below Slowbro mainly because Slowbro has a boosting move whereas Starmie doesn't.
I think Starmie does get hardened, maybe. But yeah, it's like Amnesia. Like Amnesia is like the best boosting move in the game.
Like you can't argue with Amnesia.
Yeah. Let me check. Yeah, it gets hardened, but yeah.
Mr. Mime. It's a psychic type in Generation 1. It gets Thunderbolt, and that's about where the good ends.
Yeah, like you have to trade for it, so you can't. So yeah, you have to trade for it, so you had to go to that annoying shack.
I mean,
I forgot what you had to trade to get it.
I think it
Was
was.
like
Wasn't it like an Abra or something?
so an annoying Pokemon to catch.
Well, I mean,
Um,
if you can't trade to get Alakazam, it's a good option.
yeah,
I'm gonna put
I
it
mean,
in. I'm gonna put it in B tier, right below Blastoise. It's a psychic type in Generation 1 with the ability to learn Thunderbolt, but
hmm.
So it's up there, but it's not up there with other good psychic types.
Yeah, you had to trade for Abra. In Pokemon Yellow, though, you could trade for a Clefairy, which is slightly less annoying to get. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have it like mid B tier. Thing is, though, it's even worse than like I have it below Hypno.
Yeah, me too.
I put like right below Hypno.
I think it's the lowest rated psychic type so far.
I think it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, probably.
Scyther.
It's annoying to get. It doesn't get a decent stab move. I'm gonna put it in low D tier.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Even though it can boost its stats with Sword Stance, it's only going to be. I think it's only. Let me see what moves it gets. I don't think it gets much.
I think it gets slash, and that's about the best move it gets.
Now Slash will be like always critting, which is nice. Although
Although,
that can trigger your badge loose glitching, your sword stances. Uh, yeah, so you're not even going to use Slash. You're going to be using like Double Edge or Hydro King. Um, yeah, I guess quick. Sorry, yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, quick attack. That's not good. Oh, wing attack. Hmm.
wing attack is
Yeah,
base 35 in General 1.
yeah, it's awful. I'm going to have it below Hitmonchan. Jinx.
Jinx is probably another really good. Is I think I'm gonna put Jinx in A tier. Stab Blizzard, Stab Psychic. That's all you need to know. Plus, it gets a Lovely Kiss as a
Mm-hmm.
signature move, which
I
is
think in order to get it, what you trade a Poliwhirl,
yes.
so it's relatively easy to get as well. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have it right below Persian, and looking now, I had Gengar in A tier. I'm gonna move it down to bottom of B or top of B tier. But yeah, Jinx, yeah, definitely a very solid Pokemon.
You know what? I think I'm going to move Persian up to bottom of A. Electabuzz. Stab Thunderbolt, that's about all it gets, right?
Mm-hmm. Stab, Thunderbolt, and something that really hurts it for me is the only place to find it is in the power plant as a pretty low encounter rate.
And
I think
there's
it's
an
like a 5%.
and there's another Pokemon you can find in the power plant that's infinitely better that we'll be talking about later.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even use. May I put it maybe above Magneton and Electrode in F tier, but still like pretty abysmal Pokemon.
Magmar,
Now, yeah, as a
G-
counterpart,
Generation 1 Fire type, bottom of F.
I'm gonna have it in the middle of F just because
yeah, I'm
it's better than Electabuzz just because it's less of a pain to get.
I'm
Because you're gonna be spending some time in the Pokemon Mansion, and I think it has a counter rate of like 14%.
yeah, I'm gonna put it right above Rapidash because at least Magmar has a useful special stat. Pinsir, incredibly hard to get, and no bug stab.
Yeah, it's
Right,
hard to get and not
join
even good. Yeah, it's going right below Scyther.
like at least Scyther has Slash and Sword Stance. What does Pinsir have?
Um,
Guillotine.
yeah, Guillotine, but I think it's pretty slow. Okay, no, 85, so it's actually decent speed. I will say, has 125 attack and body slam, so it's slightly higher attack than Scyther. It does get
So,
Force Stance as well.
you know what? I'm
But I'm
gonna
gonna put
move.
it above
Yeah, I'm
Tauros.
gonna put it above Scyther.
Because I
Tauros?
mean,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, well, yeah, let's say with I mean, Pinsir, yeah, it does have a bad move pool, but I mean, do you really need a move pool beyond Body Slam? It's Generation One. And yeah, it also gets submission. So I mean, you're not gonna be beating Agatha, but everything else may have a little bit of issue with it. That's probably the middle D tier, actually. I mean, it's still bad. But yeah, let's go to Tauros, because Tauros is a absolute unit.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in S tier right above Nidoking. Well, no, actually I'm going to put it below Nidoking for one very important reason. It is a Safari Zone Pokemon that is fairly rare to get, so you're going to be spending time to get it, but it's going to be worth it if you get it. So I'm gonna put it below Nidoking and above Slowbro.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing going against it is you're going to be around the mid game by the time you get Tauros. Well, Nidoking, you can get that before Misty.
You can get it with Horn Drill before Misty.
Yeah, so I mean, you wouldn't really want to use Horn Drill because you don't get any X accuracies until Celadon, but still is a yeah. Nidoking is just kind of honestly, if there's like an S plus tier, Nidoking goes there. Um,
Gyarados.
Gyarados. Ooh,
It's okay.
I have a I like Gyarados.
Yeah, Gyarados is a really cool Pokemon, but it's not really that good in Generation 1. It
I
can't.
mean,
It can use its stab, or its water stab.
Gyarados.
Yeah,
Gyarados, though.
yeah, it's Gyarados.
Gyarados. You can buy that magic card from that guy outside of oh shit, what's the Mount Moon, and then you could train him, and then you get that satisfaction of having a Gyarados.
In in later generations, Gyarados would be worth it. Wait, what's its special in Generation 1?
100.
Oh, mid B tier. Above.
Yeah, like after Generation 1, it goes down to 60, but in Generation 1, 100. So it can even use, like, it gets Hydro Pump, it gets Hyper Beam, it gets Blizzard, it gets Body Slam, it gets Thunderbolt, um,
Yeah, this thing.
Fire Blast.
I'm putting it in mid B tier right above Venusaur.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the, I could have it in, mid A tier, because, I mean, it's definitely not as good as, Starmie or Slowbro, but I think it's probably yeah. For me at least, it's going to be a mid A tier because it's very useful. I mean, it's definitely usable, and the satisfaction of getting it if you raise that level 5 match carve outside my Mount Mac,
Yeah, but you're going to have to do a lot of switch training.
which is annoying, but that satisfaction. All right, let's
Or
talk about a different water Pokemon, Lapras.
it's a bulky water with recover. I think it gets recover in Generation 1.
I can check real quick. Not sure about recover. I know. I mean, no recover.
It gets rest though.
He gets rest, yeah. Um, it gets
Mm.
Zing, which is awful. But I mean, it gets Thunderbolt, Blizzard, Body Slam, Confuse Ray if you really wanted to. So
Um,
it's decent stats. I have it right above Blastoise because you get it in every single playthrough, basically.
yeah, right above Blastoise, but below Cloyster.
I mean, I think it's like probably the easiest
Well,
Pokemon to get in a playthrough, just because he's
I'm
right
actually
next to
gonna
the fifth rival battle.
I'm actually gonna put it above Cloyster, but below Venusaur.
Yeah, I put above Blizzard because yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think Lapras is like the easiest Pokemon to get in the game, besides whatever starter you wanted.
Ditto, I'm putting it below Onyx and above Golbat.
Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of a hot take. He's going above Onyx just because it can become something else.
Yeah, but you gotta waste a turn to do it.
Yeah, but at least you're not stuck with an Onyx.
Well, actually, let's discuss this. I think the Ditto might be easier to use in Generation 1 single player than it is in competitive because in competitive it's hot garbage, but it can basically be anything in Generation 1.
Mhm.
Mid C.
I mean, he's still an F tier
I'm
Pokemon.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
My argument is that it's worse than Tangela, but it's better than Onyx and Golbat because at least you're not using Onyx or Golbat after turn one.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the evolutions.
Okay, so in terms of how they rank for me, I'd have to say that Jolteon, then Vaporeon, then Flareon for me.
Yep, same here.
Uh,
Where are we putting them?
I'm going to put Jolteon in high B tier. I'm gonna put, I'm gonna put Vaporeon in mid B tier, right below Gyarados. And then Flareon, it's a Generation 1 Fire type, but it has some decent qualities. So I'm gonna put it in C tier above Charizard.
All right, I'm putting Jolteon at the top of B tier, Vaporeon at the top of C tier, and Flareon at the top of D tier.
Porygon, why does this thing exist?
It's such a pain to get as well. Um, I know there is a difference of the amount of coins you need to get in order to get it, depending on which version you're playing.
I'm pretty sure it's 6,500 in Pokemon Red and 9,999 in Blue.
And then also 999 in yellow.
We're not really factoring
Yeah.
in yellow with this because yellow, to me at least, yellow has enough differences to merit its own tier list.
We're using the Pokemon Yellow sprites, though.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're not? Okay, never mind then. Oh, yeah, you're right. Shit. Okay, yeah, so anyway, going back to Porygon, though.
I'm gonna put it below Ditto and F tier because,
Yeah,
because with Ditto at least you're not using a Porygon after turn one.
yeah, at least with Ditto, you can just catch it and you have a Ditto. Porygon, you're grinding for a while for coins.
And it's not even that worth it. Come on
It's not
now.
even worth it. Now, I will say, if you're doing like some competitive play, Porygon has some cool uses in Showdown OU.
Really.
Specifically,
It
it
has a
has like a
niche.
counter for yeah, as a niche has like a Snorlax check
Oh,
because you can paralyze it, then spam recover and ice beam, and then you can even use counter to against the Snorlax's body slam to KO it. But yeah, that's like its only uses as a Snorlax check.
alright. Now let's talk about the fossils. So I've given my take first on the fossils, or on other trios in the past. What are your takes on the fossils?
All right, Omastar is a groovy little bastard. I mean, he's doing a little dance. I love that sprite. Probably the best sprite of Red and Blue. So I mean,
Need a Pokemon? Why not Zoidberg?
okay. I mean, I love that sprite. Now let's. I'm avoid talking about the good points because there's not really that many. Um. Oh man, I'm not okay. One second, I
Okay,
gotta
so
look it up because I don't even know its stats off the top of my head. It has awful typing. Rock, water is just so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, it has a 115 special attack, so that's actually pretty good. That's better than I thought.
So I'm pretty sure in Generation One you get them at like level 40 or something. Like
Maybe.
the revived fossils you get at level 40, so they're only a couple levels from evolving.
Hmm.
But the problem is Omastar and Kabutops are quad weak to grass, and
Yeah. The thing
and
is, though, at that point in the game, though, by the time you get them, the only grass Pokemon you'd have to worry about, like as far as grass moves you have to worry about, is maybe a few trainers in Victory Road, and then the rival if he has Venusaur.
and Executor.
Executor doesn't have a grass move.
Oh, that's right.
Now, I think the Execute in the battle right for the Victory Road will have Solar Beam, but the Solar
Why
Beam
did he
is
get
really
rid
bad.
of that?
Yeah, it's the way they coded the Gen 1 battles. Um, yeah, the Execute has Solar Beam, but the Executor does not. So
I
the
think.
quad weakness to grass doesn't really play in every playthrough. So
Okay,
I
so
think that
so who do you?
mid D tier.
Okay, so who do you think is the best of the fossils? Because I'm
The best of the fossils, I still say Almastar because he's a groovy little guy. I mean, I think okay, he wants to be serious now. Kabutops definitely because he got a sword stance. Um, and higher speed, I believe. Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
put I'm gonna put Omastar in mid C tier and Kabutops in low B tier, right below Tentacruel.
yeah. I'm just 1 sec. Let me check out his physical move. Doesn't even get no. Doesn't even get earthquake. Doesn't get doesn't even get dig. What the fuck? Yeah, no. It gets bottom B tier. I mean, it gets sword stance and slash as a good attack stat, but attacking moves it gets body slam, hyper beam,
And then Aerodactyl.
Aerodactyl. Okay, where is
Uh,
Aerodactyl? It's going like in the D tier somewhere. I'm putting it
okay,
below
so
Pidgeot.
I'm actually gonna be harsher on this thing than you. This thing does not get a decent move whatsoever. It doesn't get Earthquake. It doesn't get any sort of flying stab outside of Fly and Wing Attack. It doesn't even get Rock Slide. So,
It's supersonic, man.
so hot take. I'm putting it below Onyx.
Yeah, it doesn't even belong in D tier after looking at its moveset. But yeah,
I'm putting it below Onyx because at least Onyx gets Rock Slide and Earthquake.
yeah, it's yeah, Aerodactyl is pretty awful. Um, he has good speed, but okay, it gets double edge though. So I will. Okay, I'm gonna put it above Onyx. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the middle of F tier because at least has a good speed and physical attack, so you can use double edge. But yeah, his move pool is pretty abysmal.
Up next is Snorlax. Is there anywhere to put this thing except for A tier?
I mean, S is for Snorlax.
This is true.
And when I said earlier that Lapras was the easiest Pokemon to get in the game, I lied. Snorlax is. Because you literally can't beat the game without running into Snorlax.
Yeah, but you still have to capture it,
Okay, you still have
and
to catch it, but
and it's
Lapras is
and it's
very
extreme,
easy.
and it's extremely hard to catch with Great Balls.
Okay, that's fair. But it's Snorlax. Like, its move pool's pretty good. Like,
I'm
it's Earthquake.
I'm putting it right. I'm putting it in between the Water Psychics.
I mean, I'm putting it below Chansey because I like Chansey better, but Snorlax is pretty good.
Yeah. Generation 2 is when Snorlax gets its cracked special defense, right?
Let me check real quick. Generation 1 is only 65, yeah. So Generation 2 goes up to 110.
Alright, so I'm gonna put it below Chansey. Alright, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Zapdos is obviously the best, and I'm going to put it in A tier. Articuno, it's decent. Stab Blizzard's also always a plus, but that's pretty much all it has going for it. I'm gonna put it in low B tier, and then Moltres I'm going to put. I'm gonna put it right above Charizard in C tier.
All right. Now for me, A tier stands for Articuno. Up at bottom of A tier. I mean, yeah, it only has Stab Blizzard, but I mean, what else does it need other than Stab Blizzard? That's Blizzard's a very good move
Well, I
in the
mean,
late game.
Zapdos
I
has
mean,
a
Zapdos is better. I mean, Zapdos is going bottom of S tier for me. Um,
like the only thing that holds Zapdos back for me is the fact that it can't really do anything to the rocks.
the thing is, though, I mean, what rocks are we talking about? Bruno and his two Onyxes.
How about the rival and his Rhydon?
Rival and Rhydon, yes, but you're switching out. You're switching out some
Yeah.
matchups. I mean, every Pokemon's going to have some bad matchups. Zapdos' bad matchups is um, the Rhydon. Even the Rhydon, though, like, what's it going to do? Use Fury Attack? Its move pool is horrendous. Lower your stats clear.
Wait,
Yeah, Moltres is awful.
I'm putting it right above Charizard just because it's a legendary, but with Moltres specifically, you get it way too late in the game for it to be any sort of use.
Yeah, its Moltres is pretty awful. I'll say the one good thing it has over Charizard is that you can get Moltres in every playthrough, but it's a pain to catch. It's not even easy to catch because it's legendary, and those things in Generation One were a pain in the ass unless you like put it to sleep or paralyze it. Um, Dragonite. Let's finish off strong here. What are your thoughts on Dragonite?
Okay, so this is Generation 1 Dragonite we're talking about. Does not get Earthquake, does not have a good flying stab, unless you consider Fly a good flying stab.
And regardless of what Lance will try to tell you, does not get barrier.
There's no Dragon type move that does scaling damage, so it can't even use its Dragon Stab offensively. However, it is bulky and it resists a lot of stuff.
And probably the best stats on the list.
I mean, it gets props for being the very first pseudo legend. I'm gonna put it in mid B.
Now I'm going to put it in high A tier because, and this is going to be maybe a little bit of a spicy take, even though it does not get any dragon moves, but its base stats are just so good. 134 attack, 100 in its special. So, I mean, it gets Lizard. You can use Agility to badge boost glitch. You can use Wrap if you really wanted to. Body Slam off of a base 134.
Does it get T-Bolt in Generation 1?
Yep, it's T-Bolt. Its move pool is like actually a move ocean.
Alright, I'm
It's
gonna...
Horn Drill if you wanted to use Horn Drill strats. You can use Horn Drill. You can use Bubble Beam if you really wanted to, but you wouldn't.
I'm gonna upgrade it to a low A tier.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely has its issues, specifically going against Lorelei. But after Lorelei, though, like it's smooth sailing, like nothing else using ice moves.
All right,
Other
so
than okay, if you have a rival with a Blastoise, you may have some issues there. But
there are two Pokemon that we didn't include in this tier list for specific reasons. You want to talk about that?
yeah, there's Mew and Mewtwo. If we did include them, I mean they would be like S plus plus tier. They're both incredibly powerful Pokemon. They're psychic types with amazing stats, but the issue with them is you're not getting them through a playthrough.
Yeah.
Mewtwo, you're getting that post game, which okay, the game's already over.
And,
Your run's basically over at that point.
and
Mewtwo's like a bonus stage at the very end.
and Mew, you're just
Mew,
not getting. Mew, you're just not getting unless you use
yeah, unless
glitches.
you get a time machine and you're going back to like 1999 to Toys R Us, you're not getting a Mew. Unless you want to like glitch for it, but
Which, to be fair, the glitch is pretty easy to perform.
yeah, it's pretty easy to do. But even then, I believe the Mew glitch, you talk to what the old man battle, and then you fly to Cinnabar. Or am I thinking of missing no glitch for that?
You're thinking of Missing No.
Okay.
The Mew glitch is also referred to as Trainer Fly, where you get a long range trainer to look at you. You escape them before they challenge you to a battle. You go and battle a trainer, and then you return to the route that you ran from the long range trainer from, and you'll get a Pokemon. Most of the
Going
time.
back real quick to Masingno, if we talked about Masingno, go at the very, very bottom of F tier. Masingno is truly awful. Not only does it break your game, it's just not even worth using. But yeah, Mew's really cool though. I mean, it can learn every TM in the game, so its move pool is like obviously the best.
Alright, so that is our tier lists. I'm going to go ahead and sign off to my audience, and that'll be it.
Yep, same here. I do not have any closing statements.
Alright, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. If this does well, I'll be doing more of them. And until next time,
Yeah, stop
peace.
recording.
And until next time, peace.